Hello, and welcome to the Spring 2025 Youth Preview. I'm Sarah Hunter, Books for Youth and Graphic Novels Editor at Booklist. Before we begin, I'd like to go over some technical details. Today's slide presentation and title list were included in the reminder email you received from Zoom 1 hour ago. To download them, please open the email, scroll to the bottom, and click on the links located there. You can also download the slides and title list by typing the URLs on the screen into your web browser. If you have any trouble, please contact us at webinars@booklistonline.com. The audience is in listen-only mode, but we welcome any questions you may have. On the bottom of your screen is a toolbar with a section for Q&A. If you have a question or need technical assistance, simply click the Q&A and type your message into the box that appears. We will do our best to respond to all tech-related questions, and we'll pass along all other questions to today's panelists so they can follow up with you after the webinar. Booklist offers closed captioning on all webinars. To enable or disable them on your screen, please look for and click the Show Captions icon on the toolbar mentioned earlier. If you choose to enable subtitles, you can adjust the size of them at any time by selecting Caption Settings. And finally, Booklist expects all participants to maintain an atmosphere of respect and fairness. Anyone who violates this standard of behavior, including engaging in any form of harassment, may, at the discretion of the organizers, be immediately removed. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Kristen Luby, Associate Director, School and Library Marketing at Abrams, Rachel Berry, Marketing and Publicity Director at Highlights Press, Marlo Scrimizzi, Senior Editorial Director at Highlights Press, Chelsea Abdullah, Assistant Manager, Marketing and Publicity at Astra Books for Young Readers, and Mel Schuett, Senior School and Library Marketing Manager at Quarto. We will kick things off with Kristen Luby. Kristen is the Associate Director of School and Library Marketing at Abrams. She is proud to work with Abrams' talented creators, including Jeff Kinney, Nathan Hale, Andrea Beatty, Duncan Tonatiuh, and so many more. Kristen fell in love with reading at her hometown library in Middletown, New Jersey, and visits her local Bay Ridge branch of the Brooklyn Public Library as often as possible. Thanks for being here, Kristen. The floor is yours.
Thanks so much for having us, Sarah. And hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be here to talk about some highlights from Abrams Spring 2025 list. In the Excel sheet shared by Booklist, you can find our full spring catalog online for even more incredible books coming next year. Let's get started with some picture books. First, we have an adorable and hilarious new series from Bob Shea, creator of the popular Dinosaur Versus series, among other books for kids. Bob's humor is laugh-out-loud silly and perfect for read-alouds with kids. This new series introduces a sure-to-be favorite new character, Bearsuit Turtle, who astute readers may be able to tell is in fact a turtle wearing a bear costume. Next slide. But he's determined to prove to another turtle that he is a for-real bear. The problem is that the other turtle is a for-real bear expert, and they're a little skeptical. Next slide. The two set off exploring things that for-real bears might do, climbing trees, hibernation, foraging. But finally, the jig is up, and each turtle admits to being a fraud. Neither one of them is a bear nor a bear expert. Next slide. Thankfully, they realize that as turtles, they've had a lot of fun together, and they might actually be for real friends. This book is goofy and sweet. It's a wonderful friendship story, and there's even a list of real bear facts at the end, so kids will learn a thing or two about real bears in this book as well. Next, I've been a big fan of author-illustrator Lita Judge for years, and I'm not alone. She is a librarian and educator favorite, garnering multiple starred reviews, awards, and reading lists. And this is Lita's most personal story to date. It's a story that has been inside her for her whole life. Next slide. For many years, Lita and her family were unhoused, and she grew up in a van which they called Old Blue. They traveled the country, and Lita credits this travel for her deep appreciation of nature that informs all of her work. But it was also an unsettling and challenging childhood experience. Next slide. In this stunning book, Lita takes us through this experience from a child's perspective, expertly walking a delicate line between showing the joys, the family togetherness, the unique experiences, the safety she felt, as well as the difficulties, getting left out at school and wishing for a forever home. This story is challenging, hopeful, and loving all at once. Next slide. There are not many picture books out there that explore economic and housing insecurity, but it's an issue that impacts too many children and families, and we're so grateful to Lita for sharing this story. The book also includes a lovely author's note, which expands on Lita's personal story, as well as sharing facts about housing insecurity. Next, have you ever wondered how a book makes it from an author's mind to a reader's hands? Caldecott honoree Elisha Cooper has written a love letter to books and the publishing process in his newest picture book. Through elegant, rhythmic, read-aloud texts with his signature airy paintings, Elisha takes us from an artist's inspiration, next slide, to her publisher's office, humming with editors, computers, coffee, and teamwork. Fun fact, the sketches on the bottom here are based on the real Abrams office in New York. Next slide. Next, the book is sent off to the printer who brings the book to life on the page. And from there, the publisher sends the book out into the world. Next slide, where it finally arrives at libraries and schools and into the homes of young readers who may be inspired to create their own story. This exploration of creativity and inspiration provides some really cool insights for readers who want to learn more about book creation. Here is a book made with love. Next, here's just a quick bite of some delicious food picture books coming in spring. Cookies and Crescents is a touching story celebrating the Islamic holiday Eid and how family holiday traditions can change over time, but are just as special even when we move away from home. Fish Fry Friday is the companion to Coretta Scott King honor book Soul Food Sunday. Granny is back for a second helping, this time teaching her granddaughter about fish fries and the importance of passing on traditions to a new generation. And Stay for Dinner celebrates Indian cuisine and teaches one child that her family's food traditions, while different from her friends at school, are just as special. Next, let's talk about chapter books and middle grade. There is a great need for stories about contemporary Indigenous people, and Summer of the Bone Horses is a chapter book with a beautiful coming-of-age story, and it's a great choice for summer reading. It introduces readers to Eddie, a Lakota boy who spends the summer on the Lakota Rosebud Indian Reservation with his grandparents. This is inspired by author Virginia Driving Hawk Sneeve's childhood experiences growing up on the Lakota Rosebud Reservation. There's also full color artwork throughout by Steph Littlebird, illustrator of My Powerful Hair. The Truth About the Tooth Fairy is the first in the new series, Miriam's Magical Creature Files, introducing readers to Miriam, who is the youngest in her family, but is tired of being treated like a baby. So in each book, she'll set out to investigate and debunk a ridiculous story she's been told, starting with the Tooth Fairy in book 1, and in the next book, Dragons. The book is highly designed to look like Miriam's detective notebook with sidebars, lists, and doodles in the margins. And the story also features an Orthodox Jewish family as the main characters. Next slide, here's a look at Steph Littlebird's beautiful art in Summer of the Bone Horses. And next slide, here's a look at Miriam's notebook in The Truth About the Tooth Fairy. Next, moving on to middle grade, we have the new Vanished Kingdom book, War of the Maps. This is the third standalone epic middle grade fantasy that's in the vein of such timeless reads as His Dark Materials and The Last Battle. It's been a few years since Peter Nimble's last adventure hit shelves and received rave reviews. And while this new book features some familiar faces, new readers can absolutely start at this new adventure without reading the first two. Jonathan Auxier, award-winning author of Sweep, says he wrote this story for readers who long to return to their favorite fantasy world. For Susan Pevensey after she was locked out of Narnia, or Wendy Darling after leaving Neverland, or for every reader who never received their Hogwarts letter. Fantasy readers looking for their next world to explore will love this series. Next, The Forgotten Summer of Seneca is a contemporary story with a historical and magical twist. A young girl stumbles upon a strange portal in Central Park that transports her to a preserved Seneca village, where Black people still live as though it's the 1800s and have magical powers. Seneca Village is a real historical village and the largest settlement of free African Americans pre-Civil War until it was dismantled through eminent domain to create Central Park. This story features a sweet friendship, explorations of grief, a surprising plot, and kid-friendly discussions of gentrification. Author Cameron Gamrot is an NAACP Image Award nominee and a bookseller in New York City, and this is her middle grade debut. The story is deeply personal to her, and it's a really moving read. Next, let's talk about young adult books. From award-winning authors Kwame Mbalia and Erin Entrada Kelly comes On Again, Awkward Again. This collaboration is the YA debut of both authors, and it is an absolutely relatable, sometimes cringe-inducing, and perfectly perfect first love story. Told from dual perspectives, this contemporary rom-com stars Pacey and Cecil, two very awkward freshmen who fall in love, and as with most first crushes and romances, embarrassment ensues. This is a really sweet story. It's great for the younger end of YA readers, so Kwame and Erin's middle grade fans will be able to cross the bridge into YA really easily here. And it's also a great choice for YA romance fans. It doesn't get super steamy, but there's a great first love story here, and I think we can all relate to those awkward high school moments. Next, from best-selling and National Book Award-winning author Kacen Callender comes a thrilling, dark academia YA novel starring a cast full of queer characters of color. This is an electrifying mystery that will keep readers guessing. Dark academia and murder mysteries are both incredibly popular with teen readers, and there's still a great need for queer representation in genre fiction, so it's exciting to have this new book from Kaysen. Milo's best friend Ari's death was ruled an accident, but it's shrouded in mystery. Why was she in the woods on the night of the fire, and was she alone? Figuring out what happened the night Ari died is the only reason Milo returns to Yates Academy, even though he knows he'll be in constant danger. When the most popular kid at school, Liam, receives a letter accusing him of murdering Ari, he enlists Milo's help to find the blackmailer. But the more Milo helps Liam, the more he becomes certain that Liam has something to hide. And as Milo comes closer to the truth, he uncovers secrets that everyone wants to keep buried. Plus, Kaysen unpacks themes that they are really well known for in this book: class, race, gender, and the way all of those things intersect and create systems of oppression. It's a great read. Finally, let's talk about some graphic novels. In case you missed it, we launched a new graphic novel imprint this year, Abrams Fanfare, and here are some of our spring highlights. Two of my favorite graphic novel series are continuing this year. Bat Cat Cooking Contest follows our favorite non-binary friend. This is the third book in the series. They're part cat, part bat, and all spooky fun. Booklist says Bat Cat reminds readers that they don't have to be only one thing, they just have to be themselves. Hog Rocket Ruckus is the third in Nathan Hale's new Mighty Bite series. You know him as the creator of the Hazardous Tales series. This is a great choice for summer reading and perfect for readers who love zany adventures. It stars a group of prehistoric creatures who don't know they're extinct and want to be viral online video stars. Next, we have some graphic novel chills and thrills for all ages. In Ghost Town, Summer Vacation is a real scream. This is a fun middle grade ghost-filled romp through a haunted mansion and a heartfelt story about growing up. This is the perfect book for elementary schoolers who are about to enter middle school and may have some anxiety about big changes in their lives. And Children of the Night is the first in a new YA series. This first book is a modern spin on Dracula, and book 2 is Frankenstein inspired. This story follows Mina, a student who falls into the orbit of her high school's brooding and hot exchange student, Roth. But the closer Mina gets to him, the more sinister things around them become, and Mina must race to uncover who or what is behind the strange events in her town. Next, we have a new series from Tom Engelberger, creator of the beloved Origami Yoda series. Dino Poet is, you guessed it, a dinosaur poet, or at least he wants to be. Next slide. He and Frog, his potential snack turned poetry teacher, set off on an adventure through the land of dinosaurs, dodging predators and forming friendships along the way. In this world, you get writing or you get eaten. Next slide. Kids will come to this series for its silly, dino-filled romp, and teachers, librarians, and parents will stay for the accessible lessons about poetry, particularly the idea that writing can be fun, silly, creative, and gross. And next. And finally, I'm very excited to share Alana. This is the full-color graphic novel adaptation of the first book in Tamora Pierce's Song of the Lioness Quartet, which was named to Time magazine's list of 100 best fantasy books of all time. Tamora is a YA fantasy legend who has inspired some of today's top fantasy writers. This graphic novel was adapted by non-binary comics writer Vita Ayala and illustrated by Sam Beck, a GLAAD-nominated illustrator. And this adaptation is also really special because it reflects Alana's gender-fluid identity. As Tamora explains, Alana has always defied labels. She took the best bits of being a woman and a man and created her own unique identity. I think the term is gender fluid, though there wasn't a word for this to my knowledge when I was writing her. With strong feminist themes and a diverse cast and examined through this new queer lens, Alana's story is timelier than ever, and this is a new window into a much beloved fantasy world for longtime fans and new readers alike. Next, and here's a sneak peek at Alana. Readers can look forward to the rest of the quartet being adapted into graphic novels as well, so stay tuned for more Song of the Lioness. Next slide. And that's it from me. Please feel free to reach out to me for ARCs and more information. I'd love to hear from you. And again, in the Excel sheet shared by Booklist, you can find our full spring catalog online for even more books coming next year. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Kristen. And now we'll be joined by the Highlights Press team. Rachel Kempster-Berry is an expert in trade book publishing with more than 20 years of experience in brand and product marketing. She's held senior marketing roles in domestic and international publishing, including with Penguin Random House, DK, Scholastic, and Insight Editions. She joined Highlights Press as Director of Marketing in April 2024. She considers herself 60% goofus and 40% gallant. Marlo Scrimizzi is a senior editorial director at Highlights for Children, where she oversees editorial content creation for Highlights, High Five, and Hello magazines, and book publishing for Highlights Press. Marlo and her team work to put children at the center of each Highlights product, helping them become curious, creative, caring, and confident. Marlowe co-developed the highlights in Google's special edition magazine, The Internet Awesome, the recent book Find the Kind, The Biggest Day in Kindness History by Samantha Berger, and she had the honor of editing Dear Highlights, What Adults Can Learn from 75 Years of Letters and Conversations with Kids by Christine French Coley. Take it away, Rachel and Marlowe.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Rachel Berry, so glad to be here representing Highlights Press. And thank you for taking the time to hear about our books today. Highlights Press, I'm sure you've heard of Highlights Magazine. The press started nearly a decade ago. That's 60 years after the launch of the magazine. And like the magazine, everything we do at Highlights Press is grounded in the belief that children are the world's most important people. That's not just a marketing line, it infuses every single activity during the course of our day. We're also one of the fastest growing children's book publishers in the US, and we've got a list that keeps growing, and we're really excited to have a list of titles that are non-consumable for the library market that we've been growing, and I hope there's some surprises here. Best way to demonstrate everything we're doing, though, is to turn it over to Marlowe on the next slide so she can talk about our fabulous books.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. I am thrilled to tell you about the Ultimate Science Cookbook for Kids. This book is designed for kids ages 6 to 9. It has over 75 awesome kitchen science experiments that will get kids so excited about science and food. In every recipe, kids will learn how everyday ingredients can transform into fascinating science facts. Next slide, please. Kids will experiment with making marshmallow meteorites to learn about real space rocks. They'll construct grape and cheese pyramids to practice engineering. They'll build veggie bugs to get facts on insect biology, and they'll discover the science behind melty cheese pizza and so much more. Next slide. What also makes this book really amazing is that kids don't have to follow the recipes, the measurements, and ingredients exactly as is. They can get creative with their experiments and use the flavors that they like most. So everything in the cookbook is customizable, it is suited for picky eaters, and it's really fun to create these experiments. This is also great for all kitchen skill levels. And pictured here is Leela from South Carolina. You might not know that Highlights has a kid testing program for our books. And what this means is that real kids get to review and test out our books before we publish them, because we really want to get their feedback. Leela is showing off her Cosmic Bites experiment that she created from this book. We are including a call out and QR code in the book that invites readers to submit their creations so they can also share what they made too. Next slide.
And this is such a big, exciting book for us. And we've been giving sample recipe cards away at regional book festivals where we get a chance to talk to a lot of parents, teachers, educators, and librarians. And they've been absolutely going mad for our sample recipes. They're just, they're just absolutely perfect. Kids love them. Parents are excited about the science aspect, and they're just incredibly clever. So we're going all out on this campaign. And I really wanted to make a note here because we are looking to participate, to partner with a series of libraries so that we can do some events at your library, at your school. And please, at the end, we share our contact info, reach out. We want to get you engaged. We want to get all the kids that you're working with engaged. And we have some really incredible, fun ideas. So reach out. Next slide.
Right, next, we want to quickly talk about one of our newer picture books, Find the Kind, The Biggest Day in Kindness History, which is written by Samantha Berger and illustrated by Marina Varola. We published this title in June, and it is all about looking for kindness in a busy town. When a new family of news have a stressful move to Kindness County, their new neighbors help them gather everything they need to help the Newmans settle in and feel welcomed. This book has zany humor and a huge cast of characters that are reminiscent of Richard Scarry's Busy, Busy World. In Find the Kind, each character represents a specific kind of kindness. Kids will get to meet the Gratitude, who is a sloth with an attitude of gratitude. Hildy the Helpful Hippo, Goulash the Giving Ghost, plus many more kinds of lovable characters.
We wanted to flag this title that came out this year, of course, not spring 25, because International Kindness Day is almost upon us on November 13th. So we wanted to make you aware that this fantastic title is out there in the world. We also have a terrific activity kit that's suitable for a variety of ages that goes with the book. So please, again, check that out. If you'd like to sample a copy, get in touch after the webinar. But this title is an absolute delight, and the art and illustration style is it's just a great step in the right direction for us here at Highlights. So we hope you enjoy it.
And next. All right, knock knock.
Who's there?
Call him.
Call him who?
Next, please. Call him down. Things will be all right.
I needed that right now because of course the cat appeared in the middle of the webinar. So we wanted to highlight here our joke books. There, as you can see, a lot of them. And we all know that just about every kid goes through a period of their young life where telling jokes and being silly is first and foremost in their mind. So we have this incredible array. We have the ultimate book of silly jokes that's on the top left, coming out in 2025. And the rest are all available now. We have some seasonal titles as well, but these are joke books that are absolutely kid tested and approved, but there's nothing in there that's going to upset parents in any way, but they're still fun. And Marlo, you can say a bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like Rachel said, our joke books are so popular because they are fun for the whole family. Kids love that they get to have a huge collection of jokes that are hilarious and fun, and they get to take them anywhere they go. And parents, like Rachel said, they love our joke books because they do not have to worry about their kids saying anything embarrassing or inappropriate because all of our jokes have clean humor. And we'll move on to our next one. So we launched our innovative puzzle level reader program in fall of 2020. This was an unfortunate time to launch this series because it didn't get the reviews and attention we had hoped for. But we really believe in these books so strongly because they are truly exceptional. We've infused visual puzzles to help children build early reading skills and to develop a love of reading. We did months and months of research with teachers and early reading specialists. And by integrating simple puzzles with simple stories, kids stay motivated to read the whole book. They feel less anxious and they gain reading confidence. Next slide. We created a series for 3 different reading levels. Level P features the Bear and Friends collection, which helps children learn letter recognition and sounds. There are simple hidden pictures throughout that help with shape recognition and motivating kids to reread. Level 1 features the characters Nick and Knack, who are a human and robot duo that love to build things. At this level, kids are sounding out letters, they are reading sight words and solving the visual puzzles to build concentration and persistence. Plus, this is really fun. There's a craft at the end of each book so kids can build the items that Nick and Nat build in the stories. And then with our level 2 books, kids will read our Kit and Caboodle collection. Here, kids are starting to read more complex sentences. They are increasing their fluency and summarizing the sequence of events. And they are also solving more complex puzzles that support vocabulary and problem solving. And next slide. So this is a more detailed overview that expands on all the things that children gain from our puzzle readers and what each level offers. In the spring, we're going to be publishing bind-ups of these collections, so it's going to be even easier for kids to enjoy all of these amazing puzzles and stories together.
Next slide. So again, please, we'd love to send out sample copies. We'd love to be working and partnering with you on events. The team here at Highlights is all new, and so please introduce yourself. We have lots of opportunity Those puzzle readers are absolutely extraordinary and very different from what's available on the market. And we also know that the kids who have had a chance to find them absolutely irresistible. So we want you to kind of see that in real life. So please reach out anytime you have any questions or thoughts for me or Marlo. I can pass it along. And all of our information is on the links that were included at the beginning of the presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rachel and Marlo. We'll now hear from Chelsea Abdullah. Chelsea is the Assistant Marketing and Publicity Manager at Astra Books for Young Readers and a member of the Children's Book Council Early Career Committee. She works with creators across Astra's various children's imprints. Welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you, Sarah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a sneak peek of Astra's Spring 2025 list. First, we're going back to the fundamentals with, next, Be My Yummy ABC. I am so pleased to share the yummiest ABC book you'll ever pick up. Be My Yummy ABC is an adorable picture book that features one alphabet letter per colorful page, each focusing on a different dumpling. Next. Be My Yummy ABC is not just an alphabet book. In addition to teaching kids about foods from all over the world, it's also a declaration of love. Parents often refer to their little ones as little dumplings, and Be My Yummy ABC employs that endearing language to construct a dialogue between parents and kids. Next. As you can see, the illustrations in this book are sugar sweet. Filled with color and smiles, these dumplings will make both little ones and adults grin from ear to ear. I also want to note that this book will be out on hardcover and that the dust jacket unfolds into an alphabet poster that you can hang up wherever you like. Next. So I know all of us have a favorite animal, but let's be real. If dragons were real, they'd be everyone's favorite animal, right? Well, just in time for the latest dragon craze, I am so thrilled to share Dragon Dreams, a beautiful picture book that is both a perfect SEL title and a must-read for all dragon lovers. Next. The book begins with a squabble, a sibling squabble. After a spat with her sister, our tired protagonist slides into sleep and wakes to see a dragon at her side. The dragon invites her to a secret gathering where they meet even more dazzling dragons and their friends. Next. This magical picture book is about more than just dragons, however. It's a story about peace and reconciliation, about kindness, and most of all, about sibling bonds. It's for the dreamers, young and old, and it will be a hit with any reader who has picked up a book with the hope of escaping on dragon's back. Next. Next up, we have a delightful picture book that is a love letter to libraries and librarians. Orson and the World's Loudest Library is a book that champions local library branches and teaches kids all about what libraries have to offer for every type of child. Next. Our story follows Orson, whose favorite places all have books. His kitchen, his bedroom, his playroom, and of course, the library. All those places are usually quiet enough for him to read, but then the library has a grand reopening and suddenly there's a book club and read alouds, and Orson is not a fan. Next. Shh. Orson thinks he's doing everyone a favor when he starts asking for quiet in the library, but after a trip to the quiet room, he realizes there's something and some volume for every kid at the library. This is the must-have library book, but it will be a perfect addition for the bookshelf of any young reader, book lover, and library goer. Next. From the creators of the delightful read-aloud picture book, A Bear, a Bee, and a Honey Tree, comes a spectacular and thrilling ocean adventure, One Day at the Bottom of the Deep Blue Sea. Next. This is the story of a girl, and also the story of a shark. When our protagonist dives beneath the ocean and meets a scary shark, she'll have to use her wits to outsmart him. How does she do that? She makes a deal with him. Don't be hasty, Mr. Shark, she says. Rather, let us make a deal. I will find you something tasty. If I can't, I'll be your meal. Next. What ensues is a clever game between girl and shark as she recommends various alternatives to eating her that cause the shark to get zapped, squirted, and stung at. The lesson? None of these things will be very yummy for his tummy. Daniel Bernstrom and Brandon James Scott need no introduction. They're a dynamic duo pushing each other's wordplay and humor to the next level. Dan himself is a teacher who is always looking to make his work fun and engaging for emerging readers. His latest book is sure to capture young readers' hearts. Next. Now, who's ready to get their game on? Next up on our list is Peace Out, an epic adventure that follows Red, a game piece who is accidentally left out of his box and who will have to pass through various obstacles to make it back to safety and to his best friend, Yellow. Next. This delightful picture book by acclaimed author Alex Willen is for the Toy Story fans. It's for the kids who love to play make-believe with their toys. You know, that was most of us. And it's for the parents who will relish the humor and clever details when sharing the story with their kids. Next. Peace Out is the perfect SEL title. As readers follow Red on his harrowing journey, they'll find both their hearts and creative spirits captured. With charming and action-packed illustrations, clever writing, and a delightful ending that will have readers laughing out loud, Peace Out is a must-have for any kid's shelf. Next. From beloved author Barney Salzberg comes a tale of longing, friendship, beauty, and kindness. I am so pleased to introduce you all to his latest book, Rabbit's Feet. Next. Meet Rabbit. Every spring, he hears Boulder and Cactus having the same conversation. Boulder asks Cactus if their flowers are ready to bloom. And when Cactus says yes, Boulder dreams aloud about seeing those flowers up close. This time, Rabbit decides to help by bringing Boulder to Cactus. But it turns out moving Boulder is harder than anyone thought. Rabbit enlists the help of his friends. Next. But things don't go quite as planned. This book is not just a wacky good time, it's filled with Barney's special brand of humor and heart, with characters that manage to be strong despite their fragilities. It's an excellent SEL title and a classic in the making. Next. Next up, I'm excited to introduce Pencil, a beautiful wordless picture book that takes readers through the creative process with a thoughtful nuance. Next. From forest to industry, Pencil shows young readers how and where a pencil is crafted and packaged. It opens simply but beautifully with the shavings of a pencil that are recycled into the earth, which eventually gives rise to an expansive forest. Next. In the end, the pencil is selected by a young artist, a child who may have plans to use the pencil to create a world that looks suspiciously like the one the reader has in their hands. Pencil is both an homage to visual storytelling and to creativity, and explores the awe-inspiring connection between nature and art. This is a book for the design aficionado, the environmental activists, and for those of us looking to find new ways to use wordless picture books to inspire creativity in young readers. Next. Next up on our list, meet the incredible Kate Warren in Hiding in Plain Sight. This thrilling picture book introduces young readers to America's first female detective. Her undercover mission, protect President-elect Abraham Lincoln from the Southern rebels. Next. Hired by the Pinkerton Detective Agency, Kate Warren used her incredible acting and conversation skills to uncover the rebel plot to kill Lincoln in Baltimore when he was en route to DC for his inauguration. Next. When the president-elect found out about the plot, he agreed to Kate's secret plan to save his life. What was that plan, you ask? Readers will find out in this thrilling nonfiction picture book filled with disguises, spies, and assassins. As you can probably tell from these illustrations, this picture book is unlike anything you've seen before. Dynamic text comes together with alluring, detailed art to create a memorable, high-stakes adventure. And most amazingly, this adventure is entirely nonfiction. Next. Welcome to Rachel Carson's wonder-filled world. Rachel Carson was a force of nature, literally. In this beautiful picture book, young readers will learn how Rachel came to write her groundbreaking book, Silent Spring. Next. Carson put power behind a pen from an early age. One of the most notable things about her work was that her journey was both scientific and literary. Science, writing, the environment, climate change, activism, these were all subjects Rachel Carson explored in breathtaking detail. Next. This is a book for the budding activists, scientists, and writers. Balancing both whimsical illustrations and informative text, this Calkins Creek title shines a much-needed spotlight on an iconic figure, bringing her to life for young readers. Looking to inspire your kids with fascinating nonfiction? This beautiful picture book is sure to excite them. Next. Now, you all know as well as I that one of the hottest new book trends is romantasy, so I am very pleased to introduce you all to acclaimed author Maya McGregor's first YA fantasy with Astra, a fae romantasy filled with Maya's signature heart, incredible characters, and fantastic representation. In Stars in the Daylight Sky, we follow 18-year-old Cam as they bounce between a life in Texas and Scotland. They've always felt like they've never quite belonged in either of those places, and after a recent autism diagnosis, those feelings intensify. But then something unexpected happens. Cam crosses paths with Faye in the Scottish forest and finds their life in sudden grave danger. Cam must make a choice, face the danger or give in to the allure of the Fae and never see their family again. So, you invested yet? As you'll note from this slide, we're putting the finishing touches on this gorgeous cover and plan to have more information about the book soon. Keep an eye out for this one. You'll definitely want to add it to your 2025 TBRs. Next. And now for something that's a very different kind of thrilling. Enter the spirit world and American spirits. Let me set the stage for you. It's the mid to late 19th century and the country is consumed by death and grief. It's a time when thousands and thousands are reaching out to their lost loved ones. Think ghosts, seances, mediums, and floating bodies. Next. Here you'll meet the Fox sisters, the teenage spiritual wonder duo who can and will talk to the dead for a fee. They not only became the talk of the town, but the talk of the world. But trouble takes over when the Fox sisters encounter the perils of fame. Next. American Spirits is the debut YA long nonfiction of Barb Rosenstock, who is more widely known and richly awarded for her many nonfiction picture books. Now she brings her brilliant research and narrative skills to the young adult sphere. Prepare to listen for the spirits. They are talking. Next. Last but not least, I would like to introduce you to one last phenomenal female heroine. Meet Virginia Hall, World War II's most successful female spy. How did a young lady from a wealthy family become Gestapo's most wanted spy? In the mysterious Virginia Hall, readers will discover Virginia's extraordinary life and her evolution as a resistance fighter and intelligence operative. Next. Award-winning author Claudia Friedel brings Hall's bravery, intelligence, and determination to life in this thoroughly researched and photo-filled biography endorsed by Hall's own family. Next. Divided into sections, the book plays on Hall's different personas. It celebrates how and why she risked her life for country and causes, how she became a spy. Every section is dedicated to a nickname or alias and her different disguises. Playing up a world of espionage and intrigue, this young adult thriller is sure to keep readers glued to the page from beginning to end. Next. And that's it from Astra. Thank you all for your time and enthusiasm for our books. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out via the email on this slide. Thank you all and happy reading.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. Our final presentation today will come from Mel Schuett. Mel is the Senior School and Library Marketing Manager at Quarto. Outside of Quarto, Mel runs the blog Let's Talk Picture Books and co-hosts the annual Undies and Endies Awards with Travis Junker and Carter Higgins. She shares her home with 4,000 picture books, 3 cats, and 1 tiny dog. Thanks for being here, Mel. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Sarah. And hello, everybody. My name is Mel Schuett, as Sarah said, and I work at the Quarto Group as the Senior School and Library Marketing Manager. A huge thanks today to Booklist for hosting us. Oh, I realized my camera wasn't on, for hosting us today. And an even bigger thank you to you for taking time out of your day to learn more about some new books we have coming out this spring. I have a lot of titles to show you, so we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Next slide, please. Starting with one of our champion titles for 2025, Dear Black Boy. Dear Black Boy is a letter of encouragement to all boys of color who feel like sports is their only choice. This inspirational and uplifting picture book invites children to discover that the qualities that make them great athletes, mental toughness, dedication, passion, determination, and effort, are the same ones that will drive them forward in life, with the reminder that the biggest game they'll ever play is the game of life. Next slide, please. In the words of feminist, political activist, and philosopher Angela Davis, the captivating images in Martellus Bennett's Dear Black Boy further highlight his inspirational message of individual and collective struggle. Children, regardless of their gender, are sure to love and to learn from this beautiful book. Author-illustrator Martellus Bennett, who goes by the moniker Mr. Tomonoshi, is a Super Bowl champion, maker, and master world builder who has dedicated his life to the liberation of the Black imagination. Next slide, please. Black Joy, Love Yourself, Love Your Culture is an illustrated introduction to Black Love Day, which is celebrated annually on February 13th to demonstrate love, forgiveness, and acceptance among Black people. Throughout the course of a day, a young boy observes and experiences many kinds of Black love: romantic love between his parents, familial love of his siblings and family, admiration for a teacher at school, respect for community leaders, and more. Next slide, please. Black Joy is an inspiring story showcasing how these tenets can be used every day throughout the year to express love, gratitude, and positivity for everything in life. Author Sharnae Gordon, known online as Here We Read, is a diversity and inclusion expert, blogger, podcast host, digital creator, and author of Lift Every Voice and Change, Race Cars, and a kid's book about diversity. Next slide, please. In Why We Eat Fried Peanuts, a celebration of family and Lunar New Year traditions, readers join Meng, a Chinese-American girl, as she prepares for Lunar New Year festivities with her family and discovers the significance of ancestral stories told and traditional foods eaten during the holiday. Next slide, please. See how food plays an important role in the festivities and why one food, fried peanuts, is an important snack. The simple recipe for fried peanuts at the end of the story provides a fun and easy way to include Lunar New Year celebrations in your annual holiday celebrations this year. Next slide, please. Surviving Vesuvius, a lucky escape from the tragic fate of ancient Pompeii, is a dramatic reimagining of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and destruction of Pompeii in 79 AD, based on letters written by real-life 17-year-old eyewitness, survivor, and future author Pliny the Younger. Pliny the Younger's story is reimagined, featuring characters from the town of Pompeii who are known to have existed, like businesswoman Julia Felix and a politician named Julius Polybius. Next slide, please. Surviving Vesuvius describes the various stages of the eruption, as well as detailing how the history of Pompeii was later uncovered by archaeologists. A timeline and glossary provide extra information, making it an ideal choice for budding history and volcanologist enthusiasts. Next slide, please. Don't Squish a Slug, a wonderful celebration of brilliant bugs, will show you everything you need to know and more about why bugs are the most important creatures on the planet, even if they may not look it. Bugs and mini beasts may be small, sometimes slimy, and maybe a little scary, but they are amazing and deserve respect and empathy. Next slide, please. Learn all about how amazing bugs and mini beasts are in this detailed guide to over 40 small creatures from around the world. Each bug is brought to life with personality and wit, encouraging empathy from even the smallest and slimiest creatures, with both expert information and quirky retro illustrations for young readers to enjoy. Next slide, please. Wow friends and family with What's the Actually Factually Difference? How to tell the difference between over 150 things that are similar but different, with sections on space, the body, the world, food, technology, transport, animals, and more. This is an accessible and easy to understand introduction to all kinds of popular subjects for children. Next slide, please. For every comparative pair, both words are defined, the similarities and differences between the two things are outlined, and additional facts and pullouts are included. The playful questioning format encourages discussion and engagement by bringing every fact to life with humor and wit, and the highly detailed illustrations and accessible text bring complex concepts to life for young readers in a fun and easy to understand way. Next slide, please. Inspiring and celebratory, Messi Mania is packed full of the latest up-to-date info on the world's biggest global super soccer star, FIFA Player of the Year, and 2023's Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, Lionel Messi. Written by top soccer journalist and commentator Luis Miguel Echegaray, Messi Mania is the ultimate guide to Messi's journey from teen sensation to global soccer legend. Messi's arrival in the States has brought inspiration, excitement, and star power to men's soccer. In Messi Mania, discover the seismic effect that Messi has had on Major League Soccer and global soccer, woven through and with fascinating insights into his family background, childhood, teenage years, and career to date. Author Luis Miguel Echegaray is a top soccer journalist, commentator, and lifelong Messi fan. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, I forgot to cue that one. Next slide, please. Thank you. Join 2023 Forward Indie Book Award honorable mention held by the Land author Lee Joseph and her family in The Land Knows Me, an educational hands-on introduction to Indigenous plant knowledge. Through the Indigenous traditions of Squamish culture, readers learn how to ground themselves on the land, how to introduce themselves in the Squamish language to their plant relatives, and the many teachings related to the flora seen on a walk. Next slide, please. The directory at the back includes important safety and proper harvesting information for parents who are looking for mindfulness activities, how-to crafts, and yummy treats. Author Lee Joseph is an ethnobotanist, researcher, and community activist whose aim is to contribute to cultural knowledge renewal in connection to indigenous plant foods and medicine. Lee is a member of the Squamish Nation. Next slide, please. Small World, Meet 30 of Earth's Tiniest Inhabitants is a love letter and guide to Earth's smallest wildlife. These animals may be mini, but their stories are mighty. From a tortoise that could fit in your palm to a crab no bigger than your fingernail. The book is divided into 6 chapters: birds, fish, amphibians, invertebrates, mammals, and reptiles, with 5 of each animal featured in each chapter. Next slide, please. Prepare to be welcomed to each little animal's life and walked through all 30 creatures' habitats to learn more about how they navigate the world, with special emphasis on how each one's size and the benefits and challenges that come with it. Each chapter also ends with an amazing life-size spread, which shows the animals from that chapter at their true size. Next slide, please. Join Sophie and her best friend 80 in 80 and Me as they get ready for school and attend class. But 80 wants to be friends with everyone, doodles on the pages of Sophie's notebooks, spills paint, and gets distracted during math lessons. Sophie and 80 must work together to find a place where they are happy and celebrated, as everyone should be, on their journey from misunderstanding to acceptance. Next slide, please. Through 80 and Me, children will learn to understand, love, and accept neurodivergence in a simple metaphor that demonstrates all the ups and downs of life with ADHD. With almost 1 million followers across their ADHD Love social channels, authors Rich and Rox's 80 and Me is a powerful and important picture book filled with color, fun, and creativity, and most importantly, celebration of people on the rainbow spectrum of neurodiversity. Next slide, please. I'm going to spend these last few minutes here highlighting a few new and ongoing series that we have coming this spring, starting with the 2nd and 3rd titles in the Oh No, They Weren't series coming this January. Oh No, They Weren't challenges popular misunderstandings in science, nature, history, and pop culture, busting myths about the world we live in. Next slide, please. Oh No, They Aren't Nature pushes back against some widely held misconceptions about nature, from plants to animals, from fungi to bacteria, and even includes some prehistoric creatures, making a hugely entertaining and trendy take on important STEM topics accessible to everyone. Next slide, please. And Oh No, They Didn't, Remarkable Women shows that powerful women have always been at the forefront of history, changing the world and leading the way to our future. Inspire all young people to learn about the influential women who may have been left out of traditional books and deserve to be celebrated. Next slide, please. Inspire a child's love for our planet and our place in the universe through fascinating bite-sized facts, captivating illustrations, and more than 30 hands-on activities. Nature School Planet Earth is a beautifully illustrated learning resource offering lessons and activities that engage and enthrall children with the workings, surroundings, and composition of our incredible planet. Next slide, please. Great for both home and school settings, Nature School Planet Earth is the perfect guide for families and children ages 6 to 12 who are looking for an introduction to Earth science that includes the location, structure, atmosphere, and biosphere of our planet. The first title in the eponymous Nature School series was a 2023 Eureka Nonfiction Children's Honor Book and a 2023 American Scientist Holiday Gift Guide selection. Next slide, please. A brand new series for middle grade readers with titles publishing simultaneously in the first half of 2025, the Totally Awesome World books explore the amazing worlds of amazing people. We're launching the series with Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark in April, and those will be followed closely by Cristiano Ronaldo and Mr. Beast, which are now publishing in June. Next slide, please. Each spread is filled with the most up-to-date information on each person, with thought-provoking questions, fun facts, sidebars, quizzes, and trivia to accompany plenty of graphics and illustrations, making the Totally Awesome World books insightfully engaging guides to kids' current idols. Next slide, please. The Floof's Reach for the Stars is the first book in a new full-color graphic novel series for emerging readers. Join the Floofs as they go on 3 adventures in each book, full of fun, new friends, and just a little bit of magic, and learn things big and small about life. Next slide, please. Each book in the series features 3 short stories, perfect for children who enjoy dipping in and out of books without having to commit to longer reads. As a bonus, there are 3 shorter one-page comic strips between each story that contain little life lessons or floofisms. Next slide, please. We also have quite a few Little People Big Dreams titles coming out next season, including legendary quarterback and MVP Patrick Mahomes, trailblazing NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson, beloved children's book author Roald Dahl, renowned contemporary artist Yayoi Kusama, and groundbreaking Malawian inventor and engineer William Kakamwa. A quick but big thank you to anyone excuse me, a quick but big thank you if you're one of the 300 librarians or educators who participated in Dream Big Day last month. We are so grateful that you were able to join us. Next slide, please. And last but not least, a quick note about our award-winning graphic novel brand, Saturday AM. In addition to Volume 5 of Hammer and Volume 3 of Titan King, we're launching a new ages 13 plus series this coming February called Orisha, featuring a powerful but humble African teenager who has the potential to save humankind. Next slide, please. Quarto has a ton of downloadables, including educator and discussion guides, activity kits, and more. So please scan the QR code on the screen here or check out bit.ly/Quarto Kids downloadables. Next slide, please. And that's it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please reach out with any questions. My contact info is right here on the screen, and you can find us on all social media platforms under your Quarto Kids. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Mel. And a huge thank you to all of today's wonderful panelists. Tomorrow, all attendees will receive an email containing links to today's video recording, slide presentation, title list, and a certificate of completion. For more about Booklist webinars, be sure to visit www.booklistonline.com/webinars, where you can view archives of past webinars and register for upcoming ones like those you see here. Attention all library workers, educators, booksellers, and students. We have a special subscription offer exclusive to webinar attendees. Subscribe to Booklist now and stay on top of the latest books, glean readers' advisory guidance, and get collection development advice through print and digital editions of Booklist and access to Booklist Online. Plus, our Booklist subscription now comes with free digital and shareable copies of our new product for patrons, Booklist Reader. Scan the QR code or visit our website for more details. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. And a huge thank you to our panelists and to our sponsors, Abrams, Highlights Press, Astra Books for Young Readers, and Quarto. This concludes today's webinar. See you next time.